Hey everybody, it's Stephen Holland with Property Champions Real Estate, and welcome to another episode of Homegrown, the one channel that focuses on everything there is to do with living in the Wiregrass area. Today I am standing outside of Shute Pecan Company here in Dothan, Alabama, and this is a local family-owned business that has been a landmark of our community and been in business for nearly 100 years. Today we're going to speak with the owner, Miss Sandi Hodge, who's going to tell us more about how her family's business has thrived throughout the decades in our community, serving our community right here in Dothan. Come on y'all, let's take a look inside. Hey everybody, I'm standing here with Miss Sandi Hodge of Shute Pecan Company right here in the storefront here in Dothan. And Sandi, you've got a great place here.
Oh, thank you.
Absolute landmark of Dothan. Tell us a little bit of history about what makes Shute Pecan Company so important to Dothan.
Okay. Well, we've been here for quite a long time. We started in 1929, October of 1929. So just turned to the 93-year mark. So I like to think we're a landmark too, but you know, we've always tried to be very involved in the community. You know, what customers tell us that they want, we try to meet those needs and just kind of change them with the times as things go. You know, it used to be full of antiques in here, and we still have a lot of that, but we try to customize it to what our customers want.
Right. It started by your grandparents, carried on by your parents, and now third generation.
And the fourth generation just moved back to Dothan, so I'm thrilled about that. And they're taking a real interest in the business, so that makes my heart happy.
That's beautiful.
It
Family,
is.
local owned business.
Yeah.
And y'all have got a variety of things. Not only are you a pecan company that buys pecans and sells pecans, but all types of merchandise.
We do. We have all kinds of nuts and even some snack items, you know, like we do honey roasted sesame, some toasted corn, things like that. We've got every nut you could think of and just about every flavor you could think of, but you know, almonds and cashews, and our newest flavor is an amaretto cashew. Remind me, you need to try some. They are so good.
Looking forward to it.
We have all kinds of flavors of all the different nuts. So yeah, lots of variety.
And as far as plans for the future, what, you know, going into this almost century of business.
We have a couple of ideas for maybe 2 or 3 years from now, but right now we are, you know, we just keep reinventing ourselves and trying to keep new merchandise. We go to markets, we go through trainings, and so we just want to be relevant for our customers and relevant for our community, and just involved in our community. So, and I think that's the way you do that, is, you know, you keep listening to what your customers want, and you'll stay relevant that way.
Right. Y'all definitely do deliver the value for people around here in the community.
We certainly try to. I really do try to be value driven. I know that it's not always easy to get over here, and so our prices are excellent. I mean, it's hard to beat them.
And being the premier pecan company in Dothan, and for the entire area as a whole, people that may not be familiar with the pecan crop.
Well, this year, there's not much of one.
Yep.
Last year was the largest crop in my lifetime, and I'm old. This year is the shortest crop in my lifetime. We typically buy 6 days a week. I've been back home in the business 16 years. There's been one other year that we didn't buy 6 days a week, and we still bought several days a week. This year we're only buying 1 day a week. There's just no crop, and that's because the trees are stressed from last year. The tree has energy and it needs, you know, all the nutrients. They're so stressed because last year was the largest crop in decades, literally decades. And so the trees just need a little break this year, and then hopefully next year we'll keep our fingers crossed, not too much rain, and that all the weather conditions are right.
I know my trees put out a whole lot last year, more than they ever have. And so that totally makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So, pecan crop, you know, as well as the peanut crop and all the other nuts in the area, a great sense of agricultural responsibility, I guess, for the area.
Absolutely.
To produce, not only for food, but of course economics and people's jobs.
When I was a child on the dock next door, I remember people if they were building a new, you know, home and farm, people did it on more land, of course, and they planted enough trees to pay their property taxes. That's just what you did. It was how they paid their property taxes to be able to sell their pecans, and that was their planning for the future. And of course that doesn't happen anymore. Young people don't like all the mess that pecan trees make, and I get it. We've made room for development in our area, and so we don't have the amount of trees and the amount of orchards that we used to have in our area.
How can people find you, and what hours are you open?
We are Monday through Saturday, 8:30 to 4:30, and we are right across the street from Southern Bone and Joint, that is in between Cottonwood Corners, Cottonwood Highway, and the Medical Center. We're on the same side of the road as the old Farm Center, if that rings a bell, but 1475 Ross Clark Circle.
Sandi, I really appreciate you spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. This is a huge honor and privilege, and I appreciate you choosing us.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, now that we've been able to talk with Sandi and check out the great retail store location here, we're going to take a look across the street and talk to Mr. Steve Parker, who's going to give us a little bit more details about the whole buying process and what you can expect if you pull up at Shute Pecan's buying point warehouse across the street with your pecans for sale. We'll find out what they're looking for, how that process works, and maybe a little bit more about the science and the details behind the pecan industry. Hey everybody, I am standing here with Mr. Steve Parker, a landmark here at Shute Pecan Company. Started back in 1977, is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
So that's 44 years going strong here.
Yes, sir.
So I would assume you are the pecan expert of the Wiregrass.
Well, I'm still learning every year.
Okay. Well, most folks might not know a lot about pecans and the pecan industry, and I guess there's a lot of different varieties of pecans, isn't there?
Literally hundreds of varieties, and at Auburn University they keep coming up with new varieties every year.
Okay.
And it's just a never-ending thing. You know.
And those different varieties, is that maybe different foods or different purposes that they're used for?
Well,
or is
no,
it...
you got what they call, well, these budded nuts, which is a grafted nut. There's hundreds of those kind of varieties. And you got seedlings. Seedlings are native, and what it is, to get a budded nut, it's got to be grafted. Like Elliott's, which is the #1 variety in the industry.
Okay.
Well, if you took an Elliott pecan and planted it, it's going to come back a seedling. It's got to be grafted to be an Elliott.
On the buying process side, is there different values to different varieties?
Well, Elliott is the #1 variety. Always brings more than everything else, because you've got about 10 varieties. But Elliott undoubtedly is the best pecan in the industry.
Right, right. And as far as the buying process, let's say somebody's got pecan trees on their property and they bring in a basket or a bucket full of pecans. What can they expect during this buying process?
Well, we pour them in the hopper behind us here, and then we grade them for moisture. Okay. They have to have a certain amount of moisture in them, and then some of them has too much moisture.
Okay.
And we grade them.
Okay. So pull up, y'all throw them in the hopper.
Look at them, grade them, bag them up, and put them in them supersized bags and send them to the bag.
Okay. And based on their weight, they get their ticket and paid there at the window.
Paid at the window, they pay in cash. And
okay. Well, great. Steve, I really want to thank you for joining us this morning, spending your time with us, sharing your immense knowledge of the pecan industry with us. I know you're very well liked, whether it's over here on the buying side of the warehouse or across the street at the store location. Everybody knows you and everybody loves you.
Thank you, Stephen.
And there you have it, folks. Thank you for watching another episode of Homegrown, and this one dedicated to Shute Pecan Company and their long history of serving the Wiregrass area since 1929. Please make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay tuned for all of our future videos. Of course, our contact information is included in the details and description below. Until next time, y'all, have a good one.